Welcome. Hello. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that everything's going to go great this week and we don't have any interruptions. So I did a little bit of test earlier on my Facebook page just to make sure everything was okay. So let's see. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Lisa Brown with Ink and Inspirations. Welcome to my Stampin' Studio. And we're going to be making some cards today that I know you're going to like. Easy, but created with a sketch that we've been working with this week. And a sketch is a starting point that you can use to make your handmade cards. So before we get started with that, I just want to cover a little bit about what's going on with Stampin' Up! But I want to tell you how happy I am that you are here, whether you're watching live or watching the replay. So glad you're here. Be sure and say hello in the comment section and let us know where you're watching from. Would love to hear from you. And we're going to get started. Okay, so it is July 2024, and it is the month for Stampin' Up! Bonus Days. And what are bonus days? Well, with every $50 in product purchase before shipping and tax, you earn a $5 coupon code from Stampin' Up! To use in August. Hi, Donna. Hi, Pam. Thanks for tuning in. And so when you place your order, you will get an email immediately with this string of letters, numbers that you must hold on to because there's no record of it. I don't have it. I don't know that Stampin' Up! Keeps record of all of those coupon codes. So save that email, take a screenshot of it with your phone, and keep it handy so that you can use it on your order in August. Okay. So right now is the earn month. And so if you have any questions about that, just let me know. Next, I want to be sure you know about the new online exclusives. I have some coming in this week that I'm going to be able to share with you soon. Super excited about that. And so we have some holiday stamp sets and bundles, papers, fall for fall. We have 2 new kits. Hey, Diana, thanks for tuning in. And so be sure you check that out. Now, online exclusives means just that. You can't find these items anywhere but in the online store, and there's a specific subheader that's called online exclusives. And in under that, you will find everything that you can just find online. So it can be stamps, bundles, papers, ribbons, tools like punches, some accessories for their Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, like the cutting plates, all those kinds of things. Be sure you check that out because there's some things on there that you might need to order regularly. I believe even maybe the trimmer blades may be on there. So anyway, check that out. That's online exclusives, and there's some new things on there that I know you're going to love to see. Okay, we're going to get started and talk about this sketch that I roughly drew up this week, and trying to do it on in Canva to show you what you can visualize or use as a blueprint or a starting point when maybe you just don't know, oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? So I've said many times, a lot of times my inspiration comes from other things that I see, and then I take it, I look at it and how things are arranged, and then I put my own twist to it. You can do that. You can start with a piece of designer paper or pattern paper, scrapbook paper, whatever you call it. Pull those colors that you want to use that in your project, and let that determine the style and the feel of your project. Or you can start with a sketch. Hey, Lynn, you can start with a sketch. And so on this one, I cut it down so it wasn't so big of color around it. But here's my card, and it is not exactly to scale. Okay, so I just did it roughly, tried to do like a standard size card front, 5.5 by 4.25, with a layer of cardstock or paper. Hi, Kathy and Henley. Hey, Henley girl. And so start with like a layer of designer paper, a strip going across, maybe some ribbon, but that could also be a strip of contrasting cardstock or glimmer paper, or I'll show you. You can just interpret it as you wish. And then this circle is representative of your main image or your sentiment. And as you'll see in some of the cards I make today, you might have like a full sentiment and not just a little picture right here or a graphic. And this is just to give you a starting point, okay? So that's what we're going to do today. Now, earlier this week on my YouTube channel, and I posted it here on Facebook as well, I posted this card. I'm going to get where you can see this closer. Okay, and so this card uses this sketch, okay, and you can see it's not exactly like it, okay, but very close. I've got my card base, I've got my layer of designer paper, I have a strip of coordinating and contrasting designer paper to go across here, and then my main image is a die cut with my sentiment stamped in the middle, and then I have my ribbon, much like I've shown here on the sketch. Okay, so our first card that we're going to make today follows this pretty much just like we see it here, and you'll see. Let's get started. So I am using the Unbounded Love stamp set. Okay, has some beautiful sentiments in it. And we're going to start with a piece of, I've got all my little pieces in here, y'all. Hang on a second. Whoa. I got some little pieces here. Okay. So on my card, I cut mine 4 1/4 by 11. Okay. Now, you can do the same card, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, that opens book fold. I think I've told you before that I like to do this tent style card because when I go to photograph, sometimes it's just, or display, they stand up easier like that. But it's the same if you're doing a book fold, unless you're doing a fun fold that requires you to fold it or cut it a certain way. You can just interchange the standard 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 card base with a 4 1/4 by 11. Now with the 4 1/4 by 11, we had to score it at 5 1/2, okay, which is the center point, burnish it with my bone folder, and there is our card base. Now we're going to work with the layers coming up. Now I'm going to start with the center, or I should say the inside of the card, and I'm using 4 by 5 1/4. Now you'll notice on the sketch here, I didn't put any measurements because they can vary. Okay, you can use the same sketch and have different measurements. All right, so, and you'll see that on another card. All right, so with this, I have my center, my inside piece, which usually is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I had a scrap piece of the designer paper or scrapbook paper that I used on front. And I cut this one 3/4 of an inch tall here by 4 to go across the piece of basic white cardstock. And sometimes I like to go ahead and do this inside first so that these don't get in the way and I don't forget to do it. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of liquid glue here. And you could go top, you can go bottom, you could make a little strip down the side. It's up to you. I usually like to put mine on the bottom, and sometimes I vary it up a bit. Okay, so now we can go ahead and take our card base, okay, and go ahead and glue that on the inside, and then that's out of the way, off your desktop, and where it's supposed to be. All right, there we go. Okay, so there's the inside. We're going to set this aside and work with the top layers. Okay, so on here, I cut this layer 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, it's the designer paper, that strip I used on the inside. It's just like that. And then I have that same designer paper stack, but it's a different print. But I thought the colors, this watercolor wash, went well with this particular print. And I cut this one 2 by 4 inches. And so that's going to go straight across like that. Let's put that on, okay? All right. All right, I'm just going to put that there, and it can vary how close you put it to the bottom. It doesn't matter. And I'm just going to go probably like this. It's about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. Like I said, it's just however you want to do it. So there we go. Okay, so we have that. Next, I have a strip of basic white 1x4, and I'm going to use that across the center like this, okay? But I'm going to stamp on this first before I glue it down. And why is that? Because if I mess up, I can flip it over and stamp on the back or cut another piece, all right? Happens to all of us. Okay, so I'm going to get a Stampin' Pierce mat to get some cushion underneath. And where's my stamp? Here it is. So the base of my card is Petunia Pop. So I'm using that color ink. And going to get my little strip. Again, that was, oh, look there. See, I got ink on it. So what I'm going to do, flip it over. All right. So this says, is being sure of what we cannot see. Okay, so that's part of my sentiment. So I'm going to ink that up, do that straight across. It's in photopolymer. And let's see, I want to put it more toward the right side of this because I'm going to have another piece that goes right there. So let's do that. Pull straight up. That looks pretty good. Okay, and on this, now I can go ahead and glue that across the front. And I'm going to center it. You could move it here. You could put it up here. Okay, however you want to do it. Now, I might vary this up a little bit and move it down and then tie my ribbon across here. Okay, so you have free reign with this. It's your card, but like I said, that sketch gives you a starting point where sometimes you're just thinking, what in the world? How am I going to do this? Okay, all right, so there we go. Now, I want the word faith to be right here. So I have a scrap piece of basic white, and I have faith, and it's in a different font. Okay, so it's an accent, and I'm going to stamp it here. Oh, that's not great, so let's stamp it again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close this up. And then I'm going to take my Stampin' Snips and cut this out. I'm going to fussy cut it out. I'm going to cut it out pretty much so I don't have so much paper I'm dealing with. Okay. Put it over here. And I'm just going to cut around the word and leave about, what is that, 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch, just a little bit of white showing around the edge. So you can see I'm turning my paper and trying to do curvy edges. Okay. What did I use on that? I think I used dimensionals to put that. Oh, I got almost a little bit too close. It's okay. We're good. So my sister had been here with us for about 10 days in Missouri, and she left this morning, is driving back to Texas, and she'll be back in a couple of weeks with my brother and 2 of my aunts, and we are so excited to have them, my dad's sisters. So that's going to be fun time for all. Hello. Yeah, I'm live. Okay. Okay, that's Mr. Brown coming in. He's going fishing. All right, love you too. All right. All right, so let's do this. Clip that off. And so now we have this that's going to stand out a bit right here. And to make it stand out even more, we're going to use mini Stampin' Dimensionals if I can find some. It's like, okay, Lisa. I thought I had them in my little basket that I might not put them there. Here they are. Here's some. So I have this little square piece that is probably leftovers from a paper pumpkin or a kit. I have a little plastic box just beside my work area that if I have these little dimensionals that are left over from a kit or another project, I throw them in there. So I notice I froze up a little bit there, but just hang with me. I'm keeping an eye on it. All right. Well, goodness, Lisa. So I'm going to put this about right there. Okay. So see that dimension under there really makes that stand out. Now, notice I'm working with this layer without it being on the front of my card. That's because a lot of times when I add ribbon, I want to put it around this top layer if it's one of those roundabout ribbon ties, okay? So I'm going to come around here and go over the top of that piece of pattern paper. I like to leave my ribbon on the spool so that I don't cut it too long or too short, and give myself plenty of room to hold on this side. And then I'm going to take this and tie a knot, and that makes a good flat knot. Okay, let me trim this off. Okay, I don't see any comments at all, so is anybody still there? Just say hello. We'd love to hear from you. Okay. It's like when I don't see comments, it's like I think crickets. Okay. All right, I might have to go turn my air conditioner back on. It's a little muggy. Oh, thanks, Pam. Thanks for saying something. Okay, I'm cutting this. I had to use these scissors on paper one time, and it, see how I have my ribbon on them? They're my ribbon scissors, but I had to cut paper because I couldn't find my other scissors one time, and it does make a difference. Normally, it would just go, so I need to get some new ones and designate specifically for ribbon again. I need to just keep up with my things, don't you think? Okay, so there we have that. And then we're going to go ahead and put this on the front. So you see, I know y'all think that's a very simple card, you know, and yes, it is. But my goal here is to share with you how you can take, hey, Connie, thanks, Diana, how you can take a simple design and change it up very easily, okay? All right, so we have that, and though I thought it needed a little bit more, so I'm going to take my little gems here. I'm almost out of the Petunia Pop ones. Let me get mine. Take your pick tool. I reordered some of the putty in. You know, you can order the refills for the putty that picks up this so easily. Put that on my order today, so let me see if this is still sticks, because this is the easy way to do it. Do that, and then we'll put one over here. Okay. All right, there's our first card. So, oh, you lost me for a minute. Okay, Kathy, yes. Now, I did notice that it froze a little bit on me. I don't know. If it's cloudy here, it just seems like, because I have good Wi-Fi, and I have all these little satellites so that it spreads all over the place, and we get it, you know, even when we're outside. But sometimes it's crazy. All right. So here's the first card. I'm going to show you another one that I did that is very similar. I needed a thank you card, and I just put the big sentiment across there. Okay. So you can see it even looks different with a different sentiment. Okay. It's big and all right. Okay. Let's make another card. Okay. I'm going to kind of straighten up my desk here so that I don't mix up my projects. So, okay, has anybody, I posted this sketch on my page, and YouTube. Has anybody tried it or made a card with it? I mean, it's super simple, but I'm telling you, it's my go-to when I'm thinking, what am I going to do? And I've done many a Christmas card like this because our Christmas papers, or well, all of our papers really, are gorgeous. And it really highlights the designer paper. Okay, so card number 2, I'm using Country Flowers bundle. Okay, let me get this out and some of my tools and my inks and my ribbon. Okay, and my stamps. Okay, so let's see, what am I doing here? Here we go. Okay, Country Flowers we're using, and a different color schemes. Let me pull out my little pieces here. Oh, I love it, Pam. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Okay, so again, I have a 4 1/4 by 11-inch card base. You could do 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 and do it exactly the same. Scored it at 5 1/2. Okay, that's in Petal Pink. I use the Country Woods Designer Series paper in this gorgeous wood look, and it's 4 by 5 1/4, just like the first card. So I'm staying with that standard measurement, okay, for that layer. Okay, let me leave that on there. So, okay, I have a 1 1/2 by 4. Remember last time it was a 2-inch. This was 2-inch. I'm bringing it down to 1 1/2 by 4 for that designer paper. I've already done my stamping and coloring, okay? So I did the little teapot and I stamped it on the designer paper. This is from the Country Islet. Is that what it's called? Let me look real quick. Oh, that's not it, Lisa. Is it Country Islet? What is this called, y'all? The designer paper with the eyelets. Country Birdhouse, basic gray, petal pink and white. Country Lace. Country Lace. Okay. And then this one, this is going to glue on top there. So those are some pretty colors. I used the colors from the wood grain piece to determine what I was going to use here. And then I just added wild wheat because I love that color when I've got muted tones going on. Okay, then we have our inside piece. Again, I have 3/4 by 4 and then a 4 by 5 1/4. I'm using this same pattern here that I'm using on this strip. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the inside again. Super simple. And this could be as little as a 1/4 of an inch. Okay, that's a great way to use your scraps, is to use them on your inside of your cards, just to bring a little bit of color indoors, so to speak. All right, let's put this on. Okay, little glue. I'm going to come up a little farther on this one. Same design. And it looks like I overcut it just a little bit. So flip that card over. You see that little bit of blue peeking out there. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to run my paper snips along the edge of the paper and just snip it. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and put it on the inside of our card. All right. There we go. And then that's going to be done. We're going to set it aside. And now we're going to take our designer paper and this strip. Now, for this strip, I'm going to put it toward the top instead of down here at the bottom. It's the same sketch, right? Hey, Debbie. And I'm putting it right here because I want that blue to show, okay? I'm covering up like some of this distressed white, and I'm going to put this where some of it shows. Okay, so this is 1 1/2 by 4, and I'm going to go ahead and put that on right in the center, right there. So these stripes determined my placement, okay? But you don't have to do that. You can vary the placement of this strip anywhere. You could put it closer to the top. You could put it all the way at the top if you wanted to, okay? It's the same sketch, all right? All right, so now, and I'm sure there are some that would, you know, not disagree, but have other thoughts on that this is a different sketch. But for me, I can look at this sketch and say, okay, I can move that up or down. Y'all know what I mean. Okay, so now I'm going to take my scrap piece of basic white and I'm going to stamp my sentiment. It says, so lucky to know you. I'm going to use Misty Moonlight, which is one of the colors in the designer paper. And what did I do with my, there it is. Use that little cushion underneath. I'm going to, I think I want to punch this before, since I have photopolymer, I'm going to punch this first. So this is the Heartfelt Hexagon punch. Great punch for sentiments. I almost punched too low. I did. Let me see if I have another piece here. I cut off part of that. I got it too close to the edge. Let's see if I can do this one better. There we go. Chunk. Okay, so now I'm going to use it like this. Hey, Nan. Well, thank you. Glad you could tune in. I've done one card, but you can go back and watch the replay. No worries. Okay, so lucky to have you in Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to center it top to bottom, or more or less, okay? There we go. And then I'm going to take Pool Party, which is another of the colors in the designer paper. And I'm using this little beady flourish stamp. This one right here. And I'm going to ink it up in Pool Party and stamp one on the top and one on the bottom. So I wanted to stamp this first because when I adhere the teapot with the flowers onto my card, it's going to overlap this a little bit. So you want to put the lower layer down first, okay? All right. There we go. Let's pull our layer with our designer paper back in, and then we're just going to kind of center this. And then before I glue anything down, I'm going to get these pieces and make sure that I have enough room for it. So you can see that's going to overlap. I'm going to put the bottom of the teapot a little lower than this strip. Okay. Then I'm going to take this and see how that looks right there. And oh, I love it. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start putting these things on. First, the lower layer, which is this punched piece. And this little end rounded point here goes almost all the way to the end, all the way to the edge, I should say. All right, and then let's do the teapot. And I'm kind of using this as a guide, this line here. And so that's going to go there. And I'm going to double check it again. Make sure I have room for those flowers up on top. So I might come down just a hair more. And let's put this down a little farther. And be sure you have room for the handle too, okay? So, and you see how this is overlapping the punched piece. And then this is going to go over top like that. And I had thought about using dimensionals, but I decided not to. It doesn't need it. The designer paper teapot is really flat, and so this is going to lay nicely. Because, all right. Okay, so now on my first card that I made, I tied the ribbon on first, okay? But I'm going to switch it up a little bit on this one. I'm going to put it down here. So that's changing it up a bit, I know, but I know I want to add the ribbon, and I think it's this petal pink ribbon, and I think it's going to stand out nicely against that pool party strip. So you see I'm kind of just winging it as I go. So let's leave that there and tie a knot. Move the spool so that it's easier to tie. All right. I'm going to try to get this knot to lie as flat as it can be. So I was going to tell, I was talking to Kathy, my sister-in-law, she's still here. I was reading about the mail. In Southeast Texas, our mail goes through Houston. You know how it goes through the big hub and then it comes down to the smaller towns? Well, Houston, much of it was, and some of it still is, without power from the storm. And it has really affected the mail service. So if you're shipping anything down there or mailing anything, there's going to be a delay. I saw something on Facebook today about it. So I had somebody call me. They were expecting something. Wasn't a customer. It was a friend. And she thought she should have already received it. And it's not there. And I told Jackie, I said, you better call her back and tell her it's not. We mailed it. It just is being held up by all of the issues with the storm. Okay, so you see, I like how that looks, that strip across there. And now I'm even changing my mind again. I'm going to lift that glue dot up. Did you see me put that glue dot beneath the knot? Kind of holds it in place. Okay, I'm going to try to gently lift it. I think I want it to come up a little higher, like the border between. Oh my goodness. That was a little rough on my take your pick tool there. Okay, now I'm going to put it down right there. Okay, I think I like that. Even though it's on the pink, I wanted more of this showing. Yes, Debbie, you're right. Yep. Debbie lives in Southeast Texas, in our hometown, or super close. We call it the same town, Fort Neches Groves. Pretty much, huh, Debbie? All right. So there's that. And then I'm going to take, these are the basic gray and smoky slate pearls that come with this in this suite. And I'm going to put 3 of them on here. And sometimes I like to use them all the same size, but I think I'm going to vary it a bit. So we have some smoky slate here. I'll put one up here. And you see how this is a little heavier on this side with this and the knot. So I'm going to put my embellishments over here on the left side. I don't want to, I said heavier, but it's not heavier. It's weighted with elements, if that makes sense. Trying to balance it out. Okay, so let's move that out of the way. And I'm going to go ahead and put it on the inside of the card base. Yeah, same thing, Debbie. Okay. Let's get this, and then we're going to be able to finish this one up too. So these cards can be done really quickly. Okay, I'm talking a lot, but think about if you had to make a stack of thank you cards, or Christmas cards, you know, you could do this layout, this sketch, and make quite a few once you know what you're going to do. I was talking to one of my team members yesterday about how once you have the design, then you make more of them because it's going to go much quicker. Right? Okay, there is card number 2. Okay, with our sketch. All right, let me move this out of the way, and then we're going to go with our third card. Any questions? I wouldn't think so. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? Okay. Okay, I've got one more card. Thank you, Pam. So sweet. Okay, those there. And next, I am kind of combining some products. I'm using this Comforting Thoughts set that I think is in Online Exclusives. Thank you. Thanks, Nan and Debbie. Let me make sure. I think it's in Online Exclusives. If one of my team members can check that for me, if this is in Online Exclusives. Okay, I'm using this, and then I'm using some dies from the, let me get Thoughtful Wishes dies, okay? So I'm using this, some leaves from this, and this little floral die, okay? Thanks, Sheila. Okay, this one is super simple, y'all, like the rest of them. Okay, let's get this out. Here's our pieces, and I'm using some of the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper that I believe is not available right now. It is on the, oh yeah, okay, Sheila. I don't know, it is, Sheila, I don't know if you're saying if it is in Online Exclusives. Is that what you're saying? It's delayed, so I'm not seeing an answer. All right, I need some little sponge daubers here. And my inks. Okay, let's see what we can get going here. All right. Oh, Online Exclusives. Okay, thank you, Sheila. Yeah, this is in Online Exclusives. Got some really sweet sentiments on there. Look, there is no good card for this. I don't have all the right words to say. Okay. Yep, sometimes that's what you got to say, right? Okay. So, where's my... Y'all, I'm getting so turned around. I got all 3 cards all around me. Okay, so here I'm using Balmy Blue. Again, 4 1/4 by 11, but it could be what? 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. And then I have some die cut pieces here that I'm going to be using and adding color to in just a minute. 2 leaves from this Thoughtful Wishes dies and 2 of the little blooms. All right, put those right there. Here's our 3/4 by 4 for the inside of the card, and the 4 by 5 1/4 piece for the inside. This time, since I have a sky print, I'm going to put it up at the top, right? Okay. I'm going to come up here with it. I started to put it down here. I thought the sky does not go at the bottom. We're going to put it up here. All right. So there's that. And then this time, big surprise, the strip that goes across the front is a piece of cardstock, Balmy Blue, cut 1/2 by 4. So I'm varying it up again, okay? But it's the same sketch. And then I have the layer, which is this beautiful Thoughtful Journey paper. Y'all, it's gorgeous. Love it. 4 by 5 1/4, just like the others. Let's go ahead and do this before I lose it. Oh, Sheila, me too. It's like you don't need anything else but a sentiment on that paper, right? I mean, it's just so pretty. I love those scenic papers. It's like I hate to cut into them. It's like, okay, what part of this do I want on the front of my card? Okay, let's move this out of the way. Get this over here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm getting this in here. I've got the, oh, I forgot this. I stamped something on the inside. I'll do it in a minute. I've got healing, peace, and rest. Healing, peace, and rest. And so what I'm going to do, I'll show you this. So I did not want to put a piece smack dab across the middle like that. So I decided to come down here with it. Okay. So it didn't interfere with the landscape too much. Yeah, Sheila. So that's why I cut this piece really narrow. And I thought I can do just a narrow sentiment on the front. And so I've got this healing, peace, and rest that I'm going to stamp on here. And I'm going to stamp it toward the left side because I'm going to put these die cut flowers over here. Okay. So I'm using Night of Navy, which is beautiful on Balmy Blue. And we're going to ink up the sentiment and stamp it over here toward the left. Not all the way to the end, but almost. And in the center. Healing, peace, rest. Okay. So now, while I've got my ink pad out, I'm going to pull my card base here. This says, hope this is a feeling better kind of day. And I'm going to stamp that on the inside. Okay. I should have done that before I ever glued it down, but, you know, I was jabbering. Okay. When it's photopolymer, you're kind of, it's like a reprieve. Yeah, it'll be fine. Okay, so I think that's all I need this one for. So let's do that. And then let's take this and go ahead and glue it on here. So again, I'm putting it down about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. And like that. See how pretty that is? It stands out. And I really went back and forth about what color to use. I didn't want it to scream at me, you know, so I thought I might use something in the sky. I could have used like our new beige too, but I liked the Night of Navy on the Balmy Blue. Don't y'all like that little combo there? All right, so now I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper and get my little die cuts, which have 2 of these blossoms, 2 leaves, and I love to color with sponge daubers, and this one has seen its better days. So that's my green one. So I'm going to take Old Olive, and I'm going to do the green first. So I'm going to take that. Let's try to not get my fingers all inky, shall we? Oh, this is going to help, but okay, let's do the other leaf. Okay, now let's do the stem and the leaves over here of this little blossom piece. So again, I'm going to hold it down here on the flower and do this bottom. Kind of went up a little too high there. Got a little enthusiastic with my sponge dauber. Again, it's okay. Okay. Now, let's put the green ink up. And I'm going to take crushed curry. So I just need that at the very top here. And I tried to get that pretty dark so it'll show up. Okay. So with my sponge daubers, I don't have one for every color, okay? I mean, that's just too much for me to deal with, okay? So I have like one for yellows, one for reds, and I kind of, you know, do this on my paper to get some of the ink off if I'm going to switch color. One for dark blues and purples, one for oranges, and, you know, anyway, I just do it like that. So sometimes I get a mix of like the greens, but I think it's pretty, so it works. What do I do with my leaves? There they are. Okay, let's flip this over. And we're going to put our blossoms on first. Let's do this and this. Okay. I don't want it to get where it covers up any of the sentiment there. Okay, so they have to be like strategically placed so that when I put my leaves on, they are not too close over here. I think I froze a minute there. Here we go. So I'm going to move that a little more over away from the sentiment. Okay. Just kind of angle them a little bit. And then the leaves are going to go like this. Get it close, but don't cover up the word. Okay, see there? And then this one. Okay. Okay. So there's that. So now I got to thinking that, let's see, ribbon. I thought, I do not want to take away from this beautiful scene with ribbon. And this was like, I've got it so far down here that, okay, so what I did is I got this balmy blue from this trio pack, Baker's Twine trio pack. I'm going to tie a little bow. It's the right color, right? I could have probably even used the lemon lolly in there, but I'm just going to stick with the blues. Okay, pull that, get those loops down because it needs to be like a tiny bow, right? You don't want it to overwhelm everything, or the flowers are so dainty. I want these loops pretty small. So I'm just going to keep pulling and adjusting. And I pull them smaller than I think they need to be because when I tighten it, it's going to pull them out some, right? Okay, so let's see. Tighten it. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and trim that off. And you don't want the tails too long either. Okay, so I guess, Nan, it looks like you're the only one on Facebook today. I mean, on YouTube, I'm sorry. Okay, let's get a glue dot behind the knot of the twine. And then I'm going to put it right here at the bottom of the little flowers. Okay. All right, let's see. Now we've got to put it on the front of our card. And it just kind of makes it, doesn't it? That blue border around it. Okay, thanks, Nan. Okay. Let's get this on here. Like that. And there is our third card. So see, let's get all the cards in here. Thanks, Sheila. Let's get our cards in here. Okay, so we have our Thoughtful Journey designer paper card with the comforting thoughts. And then we have Country Flowers with the Country Woods paper. And then we have Unbounded Love with the Unbounded Beauty designer paper. And same sketch, okay? Same starting point, but 3 cards that look totally different, right? Okay. All right. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Okay, so let me get in here. See if I can. Oh, sorry. Okay, there we go. So, okay, so I really hope you try this sketch and post. If you're not in my Ink and Inspiration Stampers group, you need to be there because we share, and I would love to see your interpretation of this sketch. Okay, so I might do a drawing and give someone a little prize. Okay, so go over to Ink and Inspiration Stampers. If it's not, I don't think I have that link here. I need to put that in so that y'all can join. But I'll put it in the comments or something below, or I'll edit the description of the video and put it there so y'all can share. Because yeah, it's fun to try and get it, to try the different ways that you can interpret the sketch, and just come up with your own rendition of it. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I hope to be back next week at the same time. If not, I'm going to let you know ahead of time and what time my live is. I think I have some people coming to visit. And next Thursday is Mr. Brown and I's 49th anniversary. 49. So next year's the big 50. We're planning a party. So, but yeah, 49 years. I just can't even believe it. It doesn't seem like 49 years, I guess is what I should say. So anyway, we may have something planned, so I may do it on a different day. Thank you, Pam. I may do it on a different day next week. So just stay tuned, and you're welcome, Sheila. And we'll do something, okay? And I hope to be able to show you something from the new online exclusives. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Give this sketch a try. Let me see what you can do with it. And I'm Lisa Brown with Ink and Inspirations, inspiring you to create, share, and make a difference. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks, Sheila. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.